Hey everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name's Amanda, and today I'm making creamy tomato basil chicken in my NINJA Foodi PossibleCooker PRO. I absolutely love using my NINJA. It's wonderful, it cooks amazing meals, and there's so many different functions that you can use with it. One of my favorites is pan searing directly right in it. Let me show you everything that we're going to be using in this recipe. I'm using 3 boneless chicken breasts, some gluten-free pasta, some regular pasta. Got this one from Aldi's. You're going to need cornstarch, 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, 24 ounces of marinara of your choice. This one I got from Walmart. It's tomato basil garlic. It's one of my favorites and it's gluten-free. And I love their price for this one at Walmart. Extra virgin olive oil, salt, onion powder. Watch out with your spices and your herbs. Some of them do have wheat in them. This one does not. Basil, and this is from my garden. Also some granulated garlic, and this is from Costco, but I put it in my mason jar. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to start off by making a mixture to season our chicken, and you're going to need half a tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic. If you don't have that, you can use just garlic powder. Add half a tablespoon of basil. Mine is from my garden. Some I have crushed up completely all the way, and then some are just like whole leaves. I need to take the time to really crush it up more, but it's perfectly fine. I can crush as I go. And last, add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And now mix it all together. You can also add some black pepper if you would like. I don't add a lot of it in my recipes because I have children and they get kind of picky. I want them to eat what I cook. So, that's definitely a personal preference if you want to add that to this meal. You're going to need 3 boneless chicken breasts, and we're going to cut them down the center. So that way you have a total of 6 chicken breasts. Normally I would have grabbed out a cutting board to do this, but lately when I buy chicken, I've been coming home and prepping my bags to where they're already cut down the middle. So that way I take 3 chicken breasts and cut them down the middle. It gives me a total of like 6 thin chicken breasts, and it works out perfect. It really helps, saves a lot of time in my kitchen. But I thought I had grabbed the bag that was already pre-cut for tonight, but I grabbed one that was not pre-cut, so it doesn't matter. It works out fine. But I would normally have used a cutting board to make this a lot easier to cut them down the middle. But it does help save some time. But also with having them thinner, when I do my slow cooked meals, it cooks faster. And it's also really convenient with kids. It makes it thinner. It really does help a lot. So take 3 boneless chicken breasts and cut them down the center like this. Now we're going to take our seasoned mixture and we're going to sprinkle it on the chicken and then rub it all over. That way it's coating it nicely because we're going to pan sear the chicken directly in our NINJA Foodi PossibleCooker PRO. Now, if you just have a crock pot or a slow cooker, you don't have to pan sear it. You can just skip that step and just put it into the slow cooker, but I like doing this. When pan searing the chicken before adding it to the slow cooker, it does enhance the flavors, and also it helps traps in that moisture to make it more juicy and tender. I like sometimes when my chicken's lightly seared, it's really nice. So you can just skip that step if you want to, and you do not have to sear your chicken. If you want to, you can always take a pan and pan sear it on that and then put it into your slow cooker. But I literally only pan sear mine for about like a good 30 seconds per side of the chicken. Now that our chicken is seasoned, we're going to go ahead and turn our NINJA Foodi PossibleCooker PRO on. We're going to turn it to sear saute setting. And we're going to leave it on the high temperature and we're going to hit start. It does take a while for it to heat up. So in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and put a good amount of olive oil, probably about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and continue letting it just heat up. Because we're going to be pan searing the chicken, I'm going to wait for it to say add food and then we will add our chicken. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start getting some of the other stuff ready. We're going to need 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. I was so close to 2 cups, so I opened the other one up and filled it all the way up to 2 cups. I like getting my heavy whipping cream from Aldi's and also Costco. They're both a really great price. Now we're gonna need half a tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic, or you can use just garlic powder, whichever one you have, they'll both work fine. Now it says to add food, so we will go back to the other project in a second. So we're gonna go ahead and add our chicken, and I wanted to wait until it was really nice and hot, so that way when I pan sear, it gets a good coating on the chicken. Add the chicken in, and we're gonna only really cook it for about 30 seconds per side. I don't wanna cook it all the way through because we are also gonna be doing the slow cooker setting. And this will just really help trap and enhance the flavor in the chicken. And also when searing it, it'll also make it to where it's gonna be extra nice and tender on the inside. And doing the slow cooker setting, it just makes it so delicious. So cook it for about 30 seconds per side. I did speed this up so it looks like I'm going super fast, but again, I did 30 seconds per side and it looks and smells amazing. Now, not all of it got completely seared because I do have 6 pieces of this in the NINJA Foodi PossibleCooker PRO, but that's perfectly fine because we will be doing the slow cooker setting. I still have it on the sear saute setting, and we're going to go ahead and add the 24-ounce jar of marinara sauce. Now we're going to go ahead and hit stop, and we're going to put it on the slow cooker setting, and we're going to put it on low, and we're going to cook for 6 hours. You can do it for high for 3 to 4 hours or low for 5 to 6 hours. Now we can go ahead and finish with our cream, and we're going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. This one is gluten-free. Now go ahead and mix it together. You want to try to get it to be lump-free. I was rushing trying to get mine done because my toddler, he wanted my attention. And so I did have some lumps and it worked perfectly fine still, but do try to mix it well if possible. My lumps were very minimal in there. Now, once we have it all mixed, go ahead and pour it in over top of the marinara and then put the lid back on. And you can let it cook between 5 to 6 hours on low. Being that we pan seared it, it probably will take about 4.5 hours to get cooked completely all the way through. I got my toddler a snack, but I wanted to come back and give it a good mix so that way the marinara and the heavy whipping cream mixture would be nicely mixed together in the NINJA Foodi PossibleCooker PRO. And then I tried to make it to where the chicken was submerged under the liquid so that way it would cook so nice and be super soft, and then go ahead and put the lid on. We have 4 hours and 27 minutes left on the NINJA Foodi PossibleCooker PRO. So my daughter and I, we wanted to make some more of those gluten-free pumpkin cinnamon sugar donuts because they were so delicious. We actually ended up tripling the recipe because the first time I made it, it only made 9 donuts and they went so fast, they did not last. So we wanted to have some for our snack today and then also for breakfast tomorrow and probably breakfast again the next day because we're tripling the batch. But she had a blast doing this. She had a lot of fun piping them into the donut tray and they are so tasty. They just smell amazing. And she had a lot of fun with it. And it was fun getting her in the kitchen and doing that with me. I also made some bread. And so right now it's just rising. That can go together with for dinner tonight for everyone. It's not gluten-free, sadly, but look how cute the donuts look. And then we also then did the cinnamon sugar coating on top. She had fun doing that too. It was definitely a really gloomy day, so it was a day that we did a lot of stuff in the kitchen and around the house. But we got a total of 19 donuts that were gluten-free and so delicious. I will list in the description box down below the recipe for making these yummy, tasty, gluten-free pumpkin cinnamon sugar donuts. And also I will link in the description box how to make a Dutch oven bread. Both of those recipes I just talked about both have a video so you can watch on how I made them. But they are really fun and easy to make. And my family really loves when I make that. And I like to make it when I make homemade pasta sauce and things like that. We all had some donuts for our snack. They were so good and so soft and just delicious. Definitely have it with a glass of milk. You can dip it in there and they really loved it. The kids love these a lot, even my husband too, especially for being that they're gluten-free. He really liked them. So my bread is almost ready to go into the oven. My Dutch oven is heating up right now in my oven and I got the bread into the oven. And so now we are at an hour left on the NINJA Foodi PossibleCooker PRO. So I'm going to start getting everything ready because it is done. But that does give me enough time to get the other stuff done, like getting the stuff on the table, getting the bread out there, getting my plates with what plates I want, getting my utensils and things like that, getting the water heated up in the pots. And because I'm gluten-free, I always use the smaller one for me because I don't need a lot of pasta. And then the bigger pot of water is for my family members, which they're going to get the wheat pasta. And so now the bread turned out great. My family loved it. I wish I could eat it. It smells great. The texture is nice and soft. I'm putting my apron back on because I know that sauce is going to get everywhere and I don't want to get it all over my dress. So definitely wearing my apron again. I am using Barilla, my favorite gluten-free pasta. And this one I get from Walmart for $2.62. And then my family member is going to use the Aldi's wheat pasta. And that one, I want to say it's like $1.89 at Aldi's. I'm just waiting for the water to heat up so we can go ahead and put the pasta in, but I want to check on how the sauce looks and how the chicken looks. It's definitely cooked all the way through. The sauce smells amazing. It all just smells so delicious. It's really creamy and smooth. Here's how it looks. I have 55 minutes left on the Ninja and my water's still heating up. The bread looks great for my family members. And so I like to use 2 different size pots when I do my gluten-free pasta and the wheat pasta so I know which one is which. I'm going to go ahead and put the bread out on the dining room table so that way I have a little more counter space. When making my gluten-free pasta and pasta for my family members, I like to use 2 different size forks when it goes to stirring. I like to use the smaller one for me because I'm making a smaller batch and the larger fork for my family. That way I don't mix up the forks when mixing the pasta. So we're going to go ahead and start getting my pasta into the water. And it is to a nice boil. And then once it's to a nice boil, I like to break the pasta in half, put it in, and stir it right away and turn it down to like a medium high. If you don't stir it right away, that's when you find your gluten-free pasta like sticks together and then you have like this really hard log of pasta and you don't want that. That's when you feel like, oh my gosh, I wasted all this money on this pasta. Pasta's not cheap being gluten-free. So definitely, you really have to monitor it right when it goes in because you don't want it to clump together. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the other pasta in for my family members. And I always like to do my gluten-free pasta first. That way I have clean hands. I'm handling it without actually touching the wheat pasta first. So doing my gluten-free pasta first, and then I can do my family members' pasta second in the other pot behind me. And then obviously I'll wash my hands afterwards, but this does really help a lot. And then also having my station set up with my forks of what forks I'm going to be using, that helps too. And then that way my gluten-free pasta is done completely before the other pasta. I have one strainer. So, I have other like sifters and things like that I could use in a pinch, but I have one strainer. And so I like to use that strainer first with the gluten-free pasta when it's done, and then I save it and use it for the other pasta. Now I've got my plates out, still going. We're at 43 minutes. Now we're going to go ahead and add some Parmesan cheese and some more basil. I wish I had fresh basil. I think the fresh basil would be phenomenal with this recipe. We're going to remove the chicken first before we add the Parmesan cheese and the basil. Now, I read quite a few different recipes on how to actually make this dish, and then I kind of modified to what I wanted to do and wanted to try. You can even use diced tomatoes if you would like. You can use fresh basil. You can add other herbs to it. This one I really liked because I'm like, wow, it's simple, it's easy. I wanted something fun, simple, and easy and tasty for my family. It was a gloomy day. This was perfect. I was able to get other things done in the kitchen and around the house, like the donuts and the other bread for my family. And this chicken is so tender and soft and just juicy and mouth-watering. It's definitely a recipe. If you're looking for something easy but delicious at the same time, this was perfect. I read quite a few of the recipes, like I was saying earlier, but then just really modified it to what I wanted to do for my family in this dish. And it was really good. Although I wish I had fresh basil. I think that would have been a big, big hit with it. Here's how the chicken looks. It looks so good. And the sauce is creamy. We're going to go ahead and add, I have almost about a cup worth of Parmesan cheese. We're going to go ahead and give it a stir. Make sure the Parmesan cheese is nicely blended in it so it will melt by the time you go to have this. And then we're going to add a good teaspoon of basil. And then go ahead and mix that as well. The pasta is almost done. Definitely monitor it, give it stirs throughout so that way you can see, if it's close to being done, because you don't want to overcook it either. I'm also going to go ahead and put some saran wrap on top of the chicken so that way it stays nice and warm while everything else is finishing up. The gluten-free pasta is done, so now I'm going to go ahead and strain it. And I made enough for tonight's meal and maybe a little bit left over for tomorrow. I actually honestly did not finish this because it was very filling and it was delicious. The chicken I really filled up on a lot because it was just so tasty. So I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to check on the wheat pasta. It is done, so now we're going to go ahead and strain that as well. Now this one, because it made such a nice amount of it, I'm actually going to split it up between my husband and my 3 children. I just poured it onto the one plate. It makes it a lot easier so then I can manage it for them. Both burners are hot right now from the pasta, so I'm trying to position the plates in a way that I don't have them on the hot burners so that way they can go directly onto the table. So I am just splitting up the pasta between my children's plate and my husband's plate. And if the kids want more, obviously they can take from my plate or my husband's plate. So it worked out perfect. They all really loved it. They filled up on the chicken and the pasta. It was so yummy. So we're going to put the pasta sauce down first, and then I'll cut up some chicken and put it on top, and you can drizzle some more pasta sauce on the top if you would like. And if you have the fresh basil, this is where I would garnish it, after you place the chicken on top, and then garnish it on top, and it would be so delicious. Now you can either cut the chicken up in slices or leave them whole, or even shred them up. And if you shred it up, you can just directly put it right back into the Ninja. I'm slicing mine up to kind of finesse it, and that way I can portion it out per plate and how much everyone is getting. My youngest, he absolutely loves a lot of chicken, so I'd rather give him more chicken than more pasta. So, this helps kind of portion it out too. But it did work out really nice. It cut nice slicing it. It was beautiful. This just a soft texture, and the sauce was so creamy and full of flavor. And now I'm just putting it on top and adding just a little bit more sauce on top. Look how delicious that looks. I loved how easy this meal was to put together. It did not take long whatsoever. There were not a lot of steps. It was perfect. And I got other things done because it was so easy. Now I'm just going to go ahead and plate everyone's plates up. And then we can go ahead and sit down and eat because everyone is starving. It's been smelling amazing throughout the house all day long. And it's dinner time. So we are all ready to go enjoy and eat. Here's how I plated my husband's plate. And here's how I plated all my kids' plates. And they really loved it. It was great, delicious. I can't say enough. I really liked it a lot. I mean, it was amazing. And now I am done in the kitchen so I can sit down and enjoy eating my dinner with my family. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys try this out because it's really simple and easy but so delicious, and you can really personalize it to your liking of the flavors, but it's so delicious and just mouth-watering. But thank you again for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you try this out and enjoy it just as much as my family did. Take care. Bye, guys.